Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Sierra, and today is the day that I'm gonna talk about the things that I usually said in my previous intros about, oh, I'm a 24-year-old creative entrepreneur. 24-year-old creative entrepreneur. 24-year-old creative entrepreneur. I think because I'm now 24 days, as the day I'm recording this, I'm 24 days shy of turning 25, which is crazy. I just felt like thinking out loud, no pun intended to my interview series. I'm evolving and I'm growing as a business owner, a businesswoman, a creative, an artist, a marketer, a storyteller at the core. Like, that's really what I am, is that I'm in the midst of reinventing myself in every capacity. And I think sometimes we talk about like rebranding and we talk about like, oh, like switching shit up or pivoting and things like that. But I have a moment to like dive deep on like reinvention and what that really means, at least for me and what I'm dealing with. A lot of times people who like need change in their life, it's like, okay, like I want to reinvent myself, or like I've been noticing a lot in like a growth of like manifestation content and like how to manifest different things in your life. I think that this next phase in my life not only is scary as shit and makes me really nervous, but also is like really exciting because I think when I was younger, and shout out to my younger self, I always had these like milestones of like, okay, when I turn 16, I'm gonna do this. When I'm 18, I'm gonna do this. When I'm 21, I'm gonna do this. When I'm 25, I'm gonna be doing this. And when I look back, you know, in my life and I think about like everything that I've done, I'm very like emotional, but then also like, damn, like I kind of already did everything I wanted to do, really. Like, I think that's kind of crazy. And now it's like, okay, I didn't think that far post 25. Now, granted, like, when I was 16, I was like, yeah, like I'm gonna be married, I'm gonna be engaged at 25, and you know, I'm gonna be doing this, which whenever God sees fit, that will be. I think in all seriousness though, like I feel like I've changed so much just in this year alone, let alone like the last time I did like a 3-year plan, which was like 2019, 2020, and like we're not even in the same environment, economy, world. I'm just reflecting, and I hope as I'm reflecting out loud, like it resonates with you, because I feel like a lot of times too, like we feel like, at least for me, and this is something that I've learned speaking with a lot of my friends as well. I don't know if it's like a creative thing or just like a loner thing. I don't know, but I'm very comfortable being by myself, and like I'm very content like in my own world. It's so easy for us to be like, okay, let's move on to the next thing, let's move on to the next goal. Like I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this. But when was like the last time like you really reflected on what you've already done? And I think as I reflect and I think about all the things that I've done, I kind of am like, damn, like I really did that. I really did that. I remember when I think I was like 21 when I did this, 21, 22. It was right before I got my record label job. And I was like, oh shit, like this is something that I wanted for such a long time, and I got it. And I literally reflected on what were accomplishments that I'm proud of for every year for as long as I could remember. And I think I started at like 10 to like 21. So it was like a decade of things that I've accomplished and that I've done. But then it was also kind of reflective of like, what is success to me? Like, what do I deem an accomplishment? And so I'm gonna put them up right here so you guys can see. I know my Scorpio moon probably is just like, bitch, you're exposing way too much, but I feel like it's just important to acknowledge your process. And I think I'm not the only person that was, one, either an ambitious child, and two, someone who may need a framework to help them reflect in order for them to like actually continue to keep that theme going, if that makes sense. I need to update the list because it's been now 4 years since the last time I did it, and so much has happened in the last 4 years. I mean, just like on a work level, you know, doing brand partnerships with 2 multi-billion-dollar tech companies, Microsoft and Adobe, but then also like being an executive producer and trusting myself to actually do a pilot. I mean, I built a network. just acknowledging the fact that like I'm a founder, and I think that's a part of my reinvention right now. I just have to accept that like I'm an entrepreneur and I'm a founder, and that I don't have to limit myself. And I think for such a long time, as a creative person, but a creative person that also loves business and like and not like weird unethical business, but just like the art of business and like how that really powers like our world. The art of business can actually help creative people monetize their creativity and like what they want to do. It's been like really interesting because I felt like for such a long time I had to only associate with the executive side of my interests, because obviously like I'm passionate about it, but then also it's like they're not going to take me serious if I'm not an exec.
Well, sort of, kind of.
People are not going to trust my business acumen, my executive judgment, I don't want to say authority, but authority, considering how I've moved even in terms with like coining the term intertech. Like back in 2022, I actually made a public article called Welcome to the Intertech Era, and it was basically just me. I'm gonna give you both like the truth and then like the professional answer.
I was just noticing a lot of these patterns between, entertainment and technology, and I just wanted, someone to also be aware of these observations that I was noticing.
That's the professional answer. The reality was I was very annoyed and tired that the executives within my immediate network at the time were not taking my advisory serious on prioritizing the intersection between entertainment and technology. Like a lot of people that I wanted to help by letting them know, like, yo, like this is happening, like I'm peeping this shit, like it's moving fast, like it's not waiting for anybody, people are already on this. And I felt like people within the culture like should be privy to that and should be able to jump into that and like really create something for themselves. And in one ear, out the other. Like it was just not resonating. It was not, they didn't give a fuck. Like they did not care at all. And so I did this article because I felt like, okay, well, may not be speaking at the right table, and I felt like what better way to reach people that I may not necessarily know, because there's more people on the planet than people that I know personally. And it's like, why not just let people in the world know that this is, happening. Fast forward, and then obviously like I trademarked the term, and because my whole thing was, you hear a lot about biotech, you hear a lot about fintech, you even hear about ed tech. And as someone who literally, again, like is just a lover of entertainment, a lover of story, a lover of culture, I went to school for like business functionality and entertainment business. It's like, so why isn't there an intertech? Because entertainment has always been built on the foundation of technology. Like even when you look at the 1920s, early Hollywood days, like the reason why entertainment was so valuable and it wasn't as democratized was because you had to have access to not only access to the technology of the cameras at the time, but it was the whole optic of Hollywood, and also how to operate the cameras and operate the studio system and then operate the music side and all of these different things, right? And so I think that entertainment has always been built on technology, but I think as we continuously talk about like entertainment, AI, emerging technology, blockchain, even like with TikTok, like TikTok is an intertech platform, like, and when I coined that term, one, I was very surprised that no one had thought about it before me. So I was like, oh, yeah, let's trademark that. Thank you very much. I'm like Googling like who created the term Web3, who created the term biotech, who created the term fintech. It's all like white men. The only person that I saw that may have had something similar to was Afrotech. Shout out to Morgan DeBon, by the way. And I love your podcast if you ever see this. And one day I will be a guest and we'll talk all about it. Manifesting that for sure. But even with Afrotech, like Afrotech, she had a plan. She had a plan and she created the platform. Still working at the label at the time, I still have to prioritize what I have going on. And when I no longer was working at the label and I started doing AI experimentation, and I created, I challenged myself 30 days of what would happen if I used AI to help me build a startup in 30 days. called the AI Advisor Challenge. I think you can still see it on TikTok. Like I documented every single day. And that's how we got to the Eclipse Network, which was a startup that I did last year. And it was actually so fun putting it together, and I learned so much. And I think, again, like trying to figure out like how to bring Enertech and this world of Enertech that I see in my mind to life. And I think at the time I was very frustrated because I was already like, yo, like, why is this not making sense? Like, why am I not, like, why is no one getting this? Like, I don't want to be the only person talking about Enertech. Like, y'all can use it, you just can't make money off of it. Unless, you want to, collaborate, then we can talk. Then we can talk about licensing, right? But until then, it's like, no, like we should still talk about it. We should still have conversations about it. I think it's really important for us to talk about these things. And excuse my nails, they will be getting done ASAP tomorrow morning, okay? Like I'm not even gonna show it on camera because it's that bad. And all the nails on this hand are still here. So we're gonna do it like this. I think this is all relative because I think that article was like a seed, I think, in terms of the ways in which like I wanted to reinvent myself. I feel kind of like wonky a little bit. Is like 25 is right around the corner, and like I'm still in my 20s. I'm in my mid-20s, and I'm gonna be in my mid-20s at this point. But I feel like I don't know, like it's like I'm closer to 30 now than I am 16, and I feel like I was just 18 yesterday. So it's just kind of like, what the fuck, like. And then it's also like, oh shit, like I'm about to be 30. Like, what does my life look like? And obviously, like career-wise, which is actually why like I made an Instagram post about, I'm no longer gonna be able to consult people for what I've been doing for the last like year as well. Like I actually been doing that longer, like when I was in school and college, like I used to consult. But like really like consulting, like I'm gonna have to put that on pause for a little bit. Because something bigger is on the horizon. Obviously, career-wise, I'm always gonna be locked in. Like, I'm always gonna have a vision, but I think reinventing myself, even in terms of like, what does my day-to-day look like? Not just like a forced routine either, but like, what does a flow look like? And I think that's the difference, at least where I am in life now compared to where I once was, is like, I don't necessarily care to have like a routine. I care to have a structured flow. And I feel like there's a difference. I feel like a structured flow is like, okay, the overarching flow, it still leaves room to be adaptable if things change, because whether you work in entertainment or you're actually an entrepreneur, like, like no day is the same. Like every day is actually very different. And so you kind of have to just be adjustable versus like a routine, where I feel like a routine is like, if it's not hit, your whole day is like thrown off, and then you get wonky. And it's like, I don't really want that. I'm sure like a lot of other videos on YouTube is very much like, oh, when you reinvent yourself, this is what you do to reinvent yourself. But honestly, guys, I am making this video because I'm still figuring it the fuck out. And I feel like I'm not the only person still figuring it out. So I just want to be honest that I'm still figuring this shit out. And this is, again, like literally me just thinking out loud. I can't believe I'm turning 25. I can't believe I'm turning 25. I'm also like very proud of myself. Like I think I've done a lot, and I think that's why it makes me nervous. I've done a lot, and I just know it's going to continue more, but I really want to like figure out like what I want to do. Like even with me creating this YouTube channel, like I've always wanted to do YouTube literally since I was in middle school. But one, like people were hating, and at the time, like I definitely felt peer pressured, like they don't see the vision, so I'm gonna stop. And like that's something that I have to accept. Like I allowed other people's projections of me and what I actually like to do to actually like hinder me and like stop me from like what I actually wanted to do, which was create a YouTube channel. Now granted, I'm grateful because I feel like my mouth was kind of crazy. My mouth was kind of crazy, and I may have just not been like in a mature space, or like been in like a headspace to be documented. I don't think in that way. But I think also what's really important is like now I'm accepting, and I do think it's like that frontal lobe, 25-year-old frontal lobe development, where it's like I'm just gonna do what I feel called to do. Friends of mine are getting married, getting engaged, having children, I still feel like I'm 18 personally. It's just like, damn, like I'm getting older. And I think that's why, like, even with the YouTube channel, it's like, okay, like I feel like my first 15 videos is gonna be experimentation of just like exploring what I want to do and like what I want to explore and what I want to talk about, because although I've built this brand of like being super insightful and super smart and super intertech, and this is how you use the internet to your advantage, which yes, I'm like still very passionate about that, and that is just who I am at the core, because I'm naturally even giving unsolicited advice, which I'm working on. I'm also so much more than just this like presented exec. Like I'm actually an artist. Like I'm actually I actually love to fucking cook. I actually have really good insight on life. And I also love playing The Sims. And I also just am always asking super deep philosophical questions while I be sipping on my little THC edible drinks. Like, I just feel like at 25, I'm no longer interested in hiding aspects of myself to fit like a brand. You know, I feel like it's like that frontal lobe development where it's just like, I'm accepting all of myself, and I feel like the world deserves to see that. And I also feel like, to be honest, women like Morgan DeBon, women like Sheila Johnson, women like Catherine O'Day, like there are women in my life, and there's been like women in the world that have shown themselves and have shown me what is possible. Visioning what you want for yourself is not the hard part when you're reinventing yourself. I actually think what the hard part is like being like, okay, I know the what, but like what is the how that I need to adjust in order to bring that into fruition? A lot of people overthink in terms of what manifestation is. And manifestation to me is something very simple in terms of the law of assumption. Like, you just are. So like when someone is like, oh, what is manifestation? I always just see the phrase I am. As soon as you decide that you want something, as soon as you decide that, you know, something is yours, and you know that this is like for you, you already have it. Like, you literally already have it. All you have to do in order to like receive that physically is to already operate as if you already have it. Like, you just have to adjust your everyday in order for you to receive that energetically. Does that make sense? I hope I don't sound crazy, but like, it's very simple. Like, but that's where it's like, it's simple, but not easy, especially in terms of reinventing yourself. It's also Mercury retrograde still. So I'm allowing myself to like change my mind and just get a lot more clear on like what I actually want for myself, and not just what I want, but like, what do I want to feel like? And like, how do I want to feel like moving forward as I'm like reinventing myself? Change is in the air right now. And I think that everyone should know, as everyone is experiencing the change in the air, and like I think everyone is feeling it as well, that you're not by yourself, and that this is something that a lot of people are feeling, but you also have the power to like take that for yourself and use this energy to your benefit and your advantage and change your life in a way that you want to see. And yeah, that's all I have to say. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. And yeah, I'm a little bit nervous about posting this because it's a little bit vulnerable, but you know, I'm learning that vulnerability is not a weakness. And if you felt like this video resonated with you, please give it a thumbs up. It does help a lot. And if you have someone that you think would resonate with this video, please share it with them. Make sure that you subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and I will see y'all soon. Bye.